Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Laura, and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross stitch with a little bit of paper crafting thrown in too. If you are new, I'd like to say welcome. Thank you so much for pressing play. I hope you like what you see. Maybe hit like, subscribe, and I would love to know what you like to stitch. And if you're a returning stitching friend, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you taking the time to hang out with me and what you're working on. I love to know what is going on in your stitching corner of the world. Alrighty, so I'm excited to be here with a bunch of stitching. I have a stitched finish, which I'm super excited about. I thought I was going to do a full finish, but then I realized what I think in my mind I want to do. I don't know if I can actually physically accomplish that right now or if I need a few supplies. So I did not get that full finish done. And I do have a start though. I'm going to wait to the very end to show you that. I'm super excited and I'm having so much fun with it. So you'll just have to stay tuned for all of that. Before I get going with my stitching, I do want to say all the batches of the trading cards have gone out. Thank you all so much for your patience. It was a challenge the way I had set it up. I've not had this challenge before, but trying to be down on the floor and crawl around just did not work this time around for me. I have a plan for the next time. I've talked with Mo about it. He thinks it's a great idea how I'm going to do it. So we shouldn't have those issues next time around. I do want your feedback though. I know what the next swap theme is going to be. I've decided I'm super excited about it, but I am unsure of whether or not to have one this summer. We generally have 3 a year, and the summer would be the second one. I was talking with some friends that there is a little bit of grumbling that there might be another Canadian strike on the postal service. Plus, you know, right now things just postally are a little bit slow and tight. Do we want to try to do one? Basically, I was thinking if we did it, shipping to me would be the first day of summer, I think is the way I was going to work it. The other option we can do is we can wait until September. Basically shipping, I think I normally say ship by October 1st. And so you have all of, you know, say in August they tell you the theme, and then you have the next month and a half to 2 months to stitch and create. So I would like to do kind of an informal poll. I know in the summertime, are you too busy? Do you want to wait? Do you love it so much that you want to do it? Let's chat about that. If you have any ideas or thoughts, you don't have to leave them in the comments below. If you'd rather just reach out to me directly through Instagram or Gmail or anything like that, that's fine too. However you feel comfortable. Any ideas and thoughts on that? I'm open to holding it and waiting till September. I'm open to having something this summer, whatever works for all of us. Okay, so let's get going with our stitching. I am not even going to show you. I'm starting right off with my stitched finish. I don't need to show you the original piece because it's done. I finished Earth Laughs, yay! I'm thinking with my bigger pieces, I was watching Mary from Mary's Stitching Corner, and Mary has the board, and she's not the only one, of course, but this is what made me think of it. And she had the little clips, and I was thinking, you know, sometimes I struggle with some of my pieces to show you the bigger ones, and I'm wondering if I should do something like that. You know, maybe throw some felt on don't you just throw a felt on a foam core board or something and then you can clip it? Possibly, but that's for a future video. That's not happening today. This is it. This is the Earth Laughs. It is from Hicks. I did stitch it using the Called for Cosmo, although Jan does provide a DMC alternative. I had never used Cosmo before, and I started this back in 2020, I believe. It's my third oldest piece. I don't remember the exact date I started it. And so I was just like, let's wing it and let's try it with Cosmo. And for those of you who've been with me for a while, you know I struggled a little bit. I don't know if it was the Cosmo, if it was the one strand. This is 20 count ice blue from To Die For Fabrics. And it also could just been me, to be honest with you. I pull on my, I'm a puller. Like I stitch very strongly kind of thing. And I don't know, maybe I just mess things up along the way. So I'm not going to say It's one strand. I'm not going to say it's Cosmo. I'm just going to say there was just an intertwining of all things that made this one go a little slower for me. It's a beautiful piece. I did buy the digital, but at the time I didn't have Pattern Keeper, and then I just never really put it in. I think because you have 4 corners right around these flowers, if you have Pattern Keeper or Markup or one of those, if you get a digital, I'd say put it in one of those if you like to do that, and I think it'd be a lot easier to do and read the pattern. There's a small mistake somewhere in there, but I don't even know where it is. I fixed everything else around it, so I think it looks great. This one is going to go in the scrapbook. I had started this one back when I was still thinking about scrapbooks, and I put it on the 20 count so that it would fit, because I think on 18 it was going to be too big. So it was my first jump into 20 count for that reason. So there it is. So excited. And super more exciting news. I had mentioned that this is To Dye For fabrics, and there was just yesterday, a friend brought my notice and said, go check out To Dye For Fabrics Facebook page, or told me what it said, and then I went and checked it out. As of the end of 2025, she's coming back, she said. So she had stopped hand dyeing in 2024 and had not said anything about coming back. So I was at this point thinking she was completely retired from hand dyeing, but she has missed it, she said in her post, and there will be To Dye For fabrics again in the future. So I'm super, super excited, because this ice blue, especially the opal ice blue, is just fabulous to work with. And so I really want to get some more opal ice blue. I wonder if I can put my request in right now for her. But so be on the lookout if you want to follow her on Facebook, To Dye For Fabrics and More, I believe it's called, or just listen here, and I'm sure I'll be paying attention because I love her fabrics. So I'm so super, super excited that she will be back. And that is, you know what? This one's done, so I am not going to put it in a bag again just to take it out. So excited to have that one finished and complete. It's been a long time coming, and I'm really, really excited with it. I'm just going to take a quick sip of my green tea. Okay, here we go. Next, I pulled out my Artsy Housewife, You've Got This. I have a pattern or two else besides from Artsy Housewife, but this is my first one I've tried, and I'm super enjoying it so far. I did go a little bit crazier for the fabric, and I don't know if I changed any of the flosses. I'd have to look and see. I might have used the... Let me just look real quick, because I don't want to tell you something that is incorrect. I think I might have. Maybe not. You know what? I have a plan to do the mug my own thing. That's what it is, I think. And I just haven't gotten to that. So I think at this point, everything that you're going to see here is the DMC conversion that was called for. But yeah, I just wanted to do something that was a little bit brighter and a little bit, I don't know, just make those colors really pop. And I'm super excited with this. This is 18 count Modest May from Those Missing Stitches. And I just love it. So we have everything on this side is completely done. This flower is done, and I started to work its way down. This is the end. So you can see it's going to be a cute little piece right here. And then I started to do some more. I did another one of the colors from the owl to kind of fill in some of that confetti and start going with there. I think mostly though, I think it was a darker night I was working on this, and I have the paper, and I think I was having trouble seeing this part, so I kept with the flowers and everything. But I'm really enjoying this. I do have to think about, so I pulled my own, I think I pulled a Pirate and Robin for this right here, but the color I chose resembles this a lot more. So I don't know if I will do them all the same and just do the variegated over here as well, or if I will change. I don't know exactly. We'll see when I get there. I want to really tackle the owl a bit more, because obviously there is some confetti. The mug is a little bit easier. So I think I would like to get some of that done first. So I have time to think about it. But there it is. You got this. I love it. Love, love, love it. And I don't know, I could see that one being out somewhere in my craft room somehow or other. Because I like the, okay, wait a minute. I'm trying to put that back in the bag without making a complete and utter mess. I like the idea of, you know, saying you got this on days that maybe I don't think I do. All right, let me pull out my iPad for this next one. Okay, this one I chose for I Spy is a challenge that I do on a monthly basis. I pick 10 prompts and you basically just try to spy them in your projects. And you can be as creative with the prompt to get it to match your project as you want to be. I don't have any like strict rules or anything like that. This is for you to just be creative and have fun. And you don't even have to do all 10. You only do as many or as few as you want. Okay, so this one was, the prompt was something silly. I think that was the way, yes, something silly. Oh, nope, this was not. I already did something silly with Alice in Wonderland. And this is Snow White. So forget it. Forget that whole I Spy thing. I just love doing this one. I started this piece a few weeks ago. Debbie, who is Glitter Dove Fairy on Instagram, let me write down Debbie's name, was having a kind of a stitch along for her birthday, and she was starting this, and it has a theme for, I don't remember the exact theme of it. It's not princess exactly, but kind of along those lines. And so I said, I loved this one. I'm going to start this one as well. And here I am. We have an evil queen. Now there's no backstitch. I'm doing this in, I did get this in Pattern Keeper. I bought this digitally when it first came out. I saw it and I said I had to have it. You know, I'm stitching Alice in Wonderland Tree, and I've already done Wizard of Oz. I really like these. And it went into Pattern Keeper like a dream. So that's been really fun. And it's going faster than Alice, to be honest with you, because I have Alice in paper. But I concentrated pretty much all on her, because I think I had all of this already done. But I did all of her this time around, except for the backstitch. That's where I was going. Pattern Keeper doesn't show the backstitch, which is fine. I'll go back and look at all the different places where it needs the backstitch. There's not a ton in this one, so it's fine. It's not going to take too long. This is an opal. I couldn't do the opal blue ice because I didn't have enough, and that's what I did the other two trees with. But unfortunately, I don't have a tag for this because it's quite a beautiful, if you can see, there's different shades of blues right there. And you can, oh, look at the shine. You can see the opal. So it's quite pretty. The blues are almost slight purple tone. I wish I knew what it was because I think it's really, really nice. And I would use more of this for kind of an opal thing when I want opal pieces. But there it is. I don't know which way I'm going to go next with this. I may finish what's next to her. I think we have the woodsman over here. So we'll see. And sometimes I like to build out some of the frame of the tree. So that could be next at some point too. But it's a mystery to me as much as you. You know that. I say that pretty often. I don't know. I never have really a plan which way things are going to go. All right. These next two are my kind of April named pieces. They you know, they have the word April pretty well. This one generally, this series doesn't usually, but because it says April showers, it does. Let me just show you. This is my April's daisy. You know, I am working on all 12 of these, and my goal is to get all 12 of them finished by the end of this year. I have maybe 3 of them, 4 of them. I don't remember how many are completed, but we're just plugging along. Of my 2 March pieces, I think I'm going to keep this one in rotation for the next couple weeks of March. And the other one, I will just try to finish. I mean, like a couple weeks of April, excuse me. And the other one, I'll just try to finish sometime in 2025 because that needs to get done too. Excuse me. So this is from Cottage Garden Samplings. And I kind of took a little bit of inspiration from this piece with the color, but I went a little bit greener. Now this one is for I Spy. The prompt was something that could be a pet. And there are little bunnies on here. Now, the white doesn't show up quite as well on camera as it does in person. So it might be hard for you to see. There's bunnies and there's the egg right there. And then of course the flowers. Now there was a white plus kind of a the really pale blue color, you know, for the DMC. And I decided just to do all white because you couldn't see a difference in the flowers. I might use that pale blue though for over here just to bring that in a little bit. We'll see. But I'm getting there. I have, see what's here, that little extra? I need to do that over here. There's some stuff in this border I need to do. And then I have some flowers to finish. Oh, and this little bunny needs a basket. So there's more than you think. That's my mantra lately. But so I'm thinking I might need 2 weeks worth to get this one finished. If I don't get it done by April, the end of April, we'll see, continue with it, or I might just wait and do the month of May. I know I'm almost sure December is done, and November might be as well. So I do have some time at the end of the year to kind of wrap those up. This is 18 count light Seaglass from To Die For Fabrics. So there we go. That one is the April one that I think I'm going to keep out. This one, I'm putting it away for now. Maybe it comes out, not this coming week, but maybe the following week. I don't know for sure. But this is April Cottage. It's from Cottage Garden Samplings. And these need to be done. They just, March and April are all I have left. And I just need them done at this point. This is where I am on this one. This is 18 count Vintage Country Mocha, the back side. And I concentrated a lot on the house. And one of the little birdies needed his little beak and legs. So that's all done. So the top part here is all done. I've made the executive decision within all of these leaves, there's supposed to be, and it's even hard to see here on the picture. You wouldn't even know it's there. At least I wouldn't with my glasses. That there's like these little flowers. I'm going to keep it like this. I'm just not sure it's going to add anything to it to put those in there. So I'm calling the tree done. The bunny is done. And so are the carrots. So I have this whole other side of the house. We have kind of the grass area right there. And then we have to repeat the entire border. So one of these months I will focus again with it. Maybe I'll try to bring it out for prompts, things like that for games, because you know I like the games. But for now, I think it's going to get put aside for a little bit. I just can't do both of those. This series I started this one in 2020. And so this series really needs to get finished. The other one was started, a couple years later than that. Now, I know this about myself. These huge series like this, by the end, I'm kind of over them. Will that stop me from doing other ones? No, it won't. It won't, but you'd think it would. I will have to think, in some cases, I will think long and hard to see how repetitive the pieces are. Those cottages are incredibly repetitive. And so that's part of it, where I'm kind of just over it and bored, but I'm too far along now. I'm going to finish those last two. All right, so full coverage. What did I do this week? There it is. I pulled out, I'm not sure that this has gotten any work yet in 2025. So I pulled out Hidden Harbor. This is artwork by Andy Russell, and it's charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. And I actually used it for ice. Well, I was going to do it anyway, and then I found with I Spy, there's water there, hence the word harbor. And so that gives me the water prompt. And remember, with these I Spy, if you do play along, you don't have to actually stitch on the part that it just has to be in your pattern. So this one has not seen work before. Obviously, with all these different colors and shades, you can realize there's a lot of confetti. I'm kind of going backwards and fixing. Now, when I started stitching this, I didn't have Pattern Keeper. So I was basically just using paper. Oh, I have to go backwards a little bit here. So this is the entire piece. That's what it looks like as a whole. And I just worked on this side. So I'm going to bring it over here. I had paper and pencil or highlighter. I don't remember. I think even at the beginning I was doing pencil, and then I kind of thought, had other people talk about using highlighters. I said, that's a great idea. Less of a mess that way. And so then I started highlighting. But then when I got Pattern Keeper, you know, then you go back and you try to put all these pieces in. And I have, in some cases, I had mismarked or not marked properly. So I'm kind of building back this area right here right now. As you can see, I worked on, there's still a few little confetti pieces here and there, but I would pick a symbol and then see what else I could do with it. I made a few mistakes in my marking around here, so I was trying to fill in that as well. I did get, I believe, 1,000 stitches since I started this and pulled it out, so I'm excited about that. I think I'm going to give it another week because it hasn't had any time this year. And if I do a quick look at the back of my planner here, I kind of designated Hidden Harbor. I want to get a minimum of 3,000 stitches this year on it. And so if I've already done 1,000, if I hit at least another 1,000 before the end of this month, then I'll be 2/3 of my way to my goal, because some of them have much bigger goals or have bigger goals. And then if I go past it, then that's just extra. So this is really pretty. I like the colors in this section. So when I pull it back out again, I will probably continue to stay here. I know this area is correct much more so on Pattern Keeper, so it will be a little bit easier, but I kind of just want to dig in. It's tough to tell in some cases where there is some confetti here because those are lighter colors. That's where Pattern Keeper comes in really handy for me. And so I really kind of want to just figure out and dig into that. 18 count white Aida, 2 strands over 1, full cross is how I do my full coverages. And so yeah, so I think you'll see this one again next week, and we'll try to make some progress again. I try to do 100 stitches a day, so hopefully you will get at least 700 stitches. Let me put this over here because that's bigger. Hopefully you'll see 700 stitches or more next week. Sometimes at night, if it's dark and I just want to stitch on something with Pattern Keeper, I pull that out, and sometimes I get more than the 100, which is always nice. Alrighty, Modern Folk Embroidery. I don't remember why I pulled this one out. I think I just felt like it. I really enjoy this one. I like the fabric and floss I've chosen for it. I am stitching it monochromatically, and I am kind of going with that color scheme for floss. I'm using Stitchy Stuff Co. Kingfisher. It is a variegated floss. I don't know how much you'll see that here. I can see it when I look for it, but it's kind of that, sometimes it looks solid, sometimes if you're looking for it, you see the variegation, which is what I really like. So that's where I am here. I started, I think I had almost to the corner, not quite. And I figured, oh, this will be fun. Let's do some of this. But then I said, no, I've got to do border. And I don't think I was even this far. I think I was over here. And so I just really concentrated on border. You can see I'm almost on this corner. I think what I'll do next is kind of go back here. I make myself at least do a strand or 2 of border, and then I do something fun. One of the times I did this, one of the times I did over here, because that's very easy, all of the branches. I'm doing it with a working copy on paper, but it's still easy enough to see. But I think I'm going to make sure I give some border here, and then there's another layer of border, but that's going to be super easy. That's just a single stitch. I might be able to do 1 row there. This is 18 count Lovely Lizzie from Those Missing Stitches, and it's some along the lines of Modest May, but I think the other one is a little bit pinkier maybe. I'm not 100% sure now. I've already put that down. But I really love these fabrics from Those Missing Stitches where you've got kind of that base. So we kind of have that beige base, but then she brings in some other colors and it just really livens up the piece. And I just think, I mean, obviously you have to think about it. I'm going to be cutting this down. This will probably be scrapbooked. So you're going to see a little bit on the outer border and then just this great little color in between. So when I show you this whole thing, you know, it looks, and it's fairly mild, not quite that stark, but it's not, that's not what my piece is going to look like in the end. It's just going to be this really beautiful mild modeling that just makes it look a little bit more alive behind there. So I'm excited with that. And I really like the Kingfisher that I've used, and I'm feeling better. I was a little nervous, would I have enough? Because the skein I'm working, but then I have one more other skein and I think I'm fine. So that's the one thing I don't know yet when I throw in variegated flosses, because you know, I pick a spot, I pick a color, and I say, let's just try it, right? I have not learned the art of calculating ahead of time how much I might need, and then of course buying that amount with the skeins, because everybody says how the dye lots change, and you don't want these times that's going to happen to me. So that's something that I'm still learning, but I'll figure it out eventually. Now, we did have the 13th of the month hit, and I was going to do more than one Halloween piece, kind of, you know, the dark 13 or the Halloween stitching on the 13th. I only got one in, but I did a good amount of this one, so I was happy with that. I was going to do, what else was I going to pull out? There was something else I was going to pull out, but I ended up just getting this one. This is Halloween Quaker. It is from the Heart Needleart by Wendy, and I am using all of the DMC colors. Did I change? Generally with Wendy, I do change some of her colors. I always like to say I jazz up the prim a little bit, but I don't think in this case, I think I used the called for. I think for this guy though, I have a ton of different variegated oranges. When I was doing, I think it was Betsy's Autumn or Cinnamon Stars, one of those. And so I have a ton of those. I'm going to pull one of those out and do that part for the pumpkin of variegated. I don't know what is called for here. Colonial Copper, it looks like, from Classic Colorworks, but I'll just put one that I have. I am really pleased. I got that done, all of this so far, and then I might have done a letter or two as well. So nice little progress here. At this point, I have to finish this element, but these are blocks, so that will be a really quick piece. And then you have the element piece here with the jack-o'-lantern and that part, and just some letters, and the border was super easy to follow. So I'm really pleased with the progress on this one. It's 18 count Monster Mash from Color and Cotton. It is, did they tell me what year? This was a 2020, September 2020 fabric of the month. So I have no idea if this is something you could ever get again from Color and Cotton. It's a really lovely mild purple with very slight blue tones. This is the 18 count version. If I really like it, and I think it's going to look really nice as a background. You know, obviously if you do this would be my background for the Halloween piece, and I think it's going to look really nice there. So at the moment I am using all called for DMCs. When I choose that, I'll let you know. But Wendy's pieces are fun. They're small. And yes, I do change the colors sometimes because, you know, I like a little bit of brighter scheme. Plus I choose fabrics that are usually a little bit brighter or different colors. But they're only usually 4 or 5 colors. So even if you do have to change, if you want to practice or try, it's a good way to try it out, because it's not like you're changing 20 colors. And you can kind of mix and match and learn what works for you for color changes. So, and they're just fun pieces. If you like little Quakers and you want to work on it, I would highly suggest, if you haven't worked on hers yet. I probably won't do the monthly series because I don't think I could do a whole nother monthly series. All right, so this next piece that I pulled out, I got some stitching, good stitching in it. It's not going to look like it in the least. I'm totally up on the top here. This is called He Is Risen. It is original artwork by Lucy Lowe of Lucy Lowe Designs, adapted for cross stitch. You know that I am going to change this, and I'm going to, I will change it and put a some words here type of thing. I would like to do it not backstitched, but I know you all laughed at me because I was basically charting in a huge, large, like sampler kind of set of words. So we have to work on that. But I am so far from that it really is not going to matter at this point. I'm still in the yellows. I am doing all DMC, which is what's called for. If you'd like to see a variegated, let me write down Megan's name. Georgia Girl Stitching, Megan. she recharted this entire thing to have variegated flosses. It's the same color scheme. I clearly did iron this. I ironed it yesterday, but oh well. So it's quite pretty, and I think she's much farther than I am. And but it's the same colors. I'm sure if you wanted to go variegated, Megan is usually very generous with her color conversions. You just have to ask her, and she very generously provides them. But you can see here, there's a little bit here where the largest cross will come in, but I'm continuing to do this. I want to get all the yellows done first up top and then start bringing in some of the pinks. I will probably work on this weekend at least one more time because it is Easter weekend. This is 18 count Spring Breeze from Mystic Fabrics. And I really like it. It's pretty purple, very pretty purple. And I just thought that would be, I know it's full coverage, but there'll be some space around the edge that I wouldn't do it completely tight. I'll probably scrapbook this. So I will give some room along, almost like it's almost matted again with like a purple matte, and then matte again with another color. So that's what it is. Not a lot to see here. I don't know how much more there'll be to see after this weekend, but we'll give it a try. And it's smaller than I think, which is what's going to get me for what I want to put there words-wise. So we'll see. I might have to tone it down and do part of it and not do the whole set that I was going to do. All right, next. I can't stay away from this piece. I wasn't planning on stitching it this week, and then I did. This is Butterflies 2 from Durene Jones. Hashtag stitch all the butterflies if you'd like to join us. If you want to see different variations of this, and it's so fun because we all started in different spots. Karen the Stitching Owl, Amy from Renewing Stitches, Mary from Mary's Stitching Corner, and Rachel Q from Rachel Q Stitches. And then a shout out to Karen D, our stitching friend, who also is working on this. And some people are doing just the circle, and then some of us are doing the whole thing. I think more people are just doing the circle than the whole square. I'm just going to put butterfly stitchers, so I know to put those Flosstubers. But, you know, if people are doing the circle, like a lot of them started in the center here, and people have just started in different spots. So it's really fun to see everybody else's versions of this and where it is. I mean, obviously it's full coverage, so the fabric doesn't matter, right? Although size will change because not everybody's going to do the same size. I'm doing 18 count white Aida and my traditional 2 strands over 1 full cross. And I did some more fill-in of the blue, did some more here, but then I really concentrated on the leaf here, and I'm really loving it. It's almost done and really has come to life. I do a combination. I fill in some of the black and do some of the outline, and then I go back and fill in colors just because I've got to bring this down because this will be kind of boring to do. So next time I might kind of do some of that and then do some of the black branching out. I currently have no plans to work on this week, but I'm not holding myself to that because, you know, what's also nice about it, it's in Pattern Keeper. Durene Jones is the designer, as I said, and it just slid right into Pattern Keeper. No problem. Nothing I needed to do with it. So it's easy to see on Pattern Keeper. It's easy to stitch because there's not confetti. Even though you change colors, it's not really like a lot. You can do a strand and follow at least 1 strand, sometimes 2. So if you wanted to try a full coverage, these ones here in this set are a nice way because you're not getting a lot of confetti. You're getting much more block color, but not just straight block color. Because I know some people don't like block color and like it a lot less than I do. I don't want like just thousands and thousands of stitches of block, but I do like a good section of block color stitching. Not gonna lie. All right, next. Cross Stitch for the Earth, Emma Congdon, which is she's Stitcherovia on Etsy. This is it right here. I call it difference you make because, as many of us will say, Emma Congdon doesn't title her pieces in her books. I started this last year for Earth Day. This was, and this book was a gift from Meg at one point, from my daughter, and for my oldest. And I wanted to stitch something up with it. I love a lot of the patterns. I like the sentiment of this one, and I just liked the fun colors, and Stitcherovia is just so much fun anyway. When is Earth Day this year? I don't think I have my planner right here, but it probably doesn't say. No, it doesn't really give. I was going to say, oh, I'll check the calendar on my phone, but I'm filming. I'd like to stitch on it this week during Earth Day. Earth Day's got to be coming up, right? Usually it's around between the 20th to the 25th. So at some point, you'll probably see this again next week. But I'm really pleased. I've got the entire word "you" done. And then I started filling in some more of these letters. I have to finish stitching the C, and luckily the E is, so these letters are at a page break in the book. So that was a little difficult, but we're below the page break here, which is fantastic. So I want to get the C finished, do the E. I have to fill in, and then you can see how these letters are also kind of, they have that shading. So that'll be nice and easy. And then I just have to come down here with this. So I know we have the big B right here. Let me just see again. We have one more word. We have the B, so the difference you make, which is easy. The B, and then some flowers on each side. And then I think the birds, I have a little bit more fill-in. This top is all done. I don't believe I'm going to do the back stitching up there. So I'm really, really, really pleased with this. This is 18 count. It's called it's called Fresh Cut Light version from Dying for Cross Stitch. Many of the colors, I've said this before, Dying for Cross Stitch, she does a light, medium, dark, which is really a cool concept. And she usually, I believe, does show like a DMC to kind of give you an idea. Now, obviously, different counts, even just say Aida, they're all going to dye a little bit differently. So I don't know which count she shows sometimes, but I'm really liking this. I think it's coming along nicely. Obviously, stitching it this week on Earth Day, I'm not going to get it finished, but maybe this could be a 2025 finish. That might be nice, actually. Maybe we'll have that, I'll put this over here. I'll put that back afterwards. So yeah, that's kind of exciting to see that one really kind of coming along. A little bit longer than a year, but that's all right. And there's several more in there I want to stitch. Lots of people are stitching. I know I've seen, off the top of my head, I can't remember. Well, I know Mandy from Mandy Parker is stitching that exact one. Oh, and you know who else is stitching? I've seen it on Instagram lately. Remember I was talking last week about Catherine, who is doing the Empyrean Sal and keeping up with it? I did not stitch on that this week. I think I've kind of let it go in the sense of, I'm not going to finish it when it's done, so I'm not going to worry about stitching it every week. I'll just pull it out when I want to. I'm going to put Catherine down again for her Instagram because she is stitching this as well, and she's making fantastic progress. She just showed where she was recently, and it looks really, really great. So I will, Debbie and Catherine, I will put their Instagrams down for you. All right, what am I looking for? What am I marking here? Okay, this is my every 4th week rotation piece. Where is it? There it is. And it is Spring Quaker from Leela's Studio. And if you're new, mine is not going to look anything like that. I've done with all of the browns on the Quaker part, not the center part, but the Quaker part, an incomplete color conversion, which meant then I've also changed the black, and so I've changed. I'm almost sure in the description box I have the colors. If I don't, I'm happy to share. I'm really pleased with it, and if you like how the color looks, I am happy to share with you. This is probably the biggest conversion I have done on a piece, and I'm really pleased with it. I think the original is beautiful, and I love seeing people stitch it, but spring to me just meant new growth, and I really just didn't want all browns, and that's where I went with the greens. Let me come up a little bit. These, the fabric is 18 count Rose Hips from Under the Sea Fabrics. And so I did two things. I'm going to fold this because I worked in two sections. First, as you can see, I've been working, I know I'm not done here, but I kind of wanted to do a little bit in the center. And so I was working on this, and honestly, I got really tired of the browns. There's two different shades of browns, and I did change those as well. So like I said, I'm doing a very heavily converted color conversion on this. But I kind of laughed to myself because I was tired of browns just doing this. So I said, thank goodness I didn't do all the other browns. And I love brown as a color. And I think brown and pink go fantastic together. It's a great color combination. I used to make cards of brown and pink all the time. But I got tired of that. So I said, okay, I have, oh, wait a minute. Let me come over here. I still have this bottom section to work on. So I did the letter Z and I did that element, which... No, I'd already done my little motif, hadn't I? Because I was going to say, I Spy, you needed a little motif. No, I did that. Oh, Halloween Quaker was what I used that for, but I could have used it for this as well. This whole section will be nice and easy to stitch. So I just worked on that. And I think when I go back to this again, whether it's for a challenge or in a month from now, I will work here. And I think at this point, I'll finish this. Above this element, there is another flower like this. Now you're supposed to put initials. There's an area where you can put initials. I don't necessarily think I'm going to do that. I'm going to leave it, see what it looks like. If it needs something, I'll find either from this one or the Summer Quaker, I'll find a little tiny piece and just stick it in that area as well. Because there's, you know, lots of little Quakery designs, so it'd be easy enough to replicate one of them somewhere else from there. And so I think this is where, and that'll, my 500 stitches, it'll probably take me at least that for this section right here. Oh, actually, yeah, because even with the flower then, yeah, so I'll probably stay there, and then I will go back. I will at least do the arms of the basket in the top section, and then we'll see. I might have to go back and do some of that. I'm not sure. I haven't thought about it yet if I'm going to do a color conversion on any of the inside flowers. I will pull what's called for and I'll see what they look like on this fabric and go from there. But I'm really pleased where this is coming along. I'm throwing it out there that this might be a 2025 finish. Might be a little bit ambitious, but I'm going to throw it out there and say that I can do it. And then we'll see what happens. Because, you know, if I have been very faithful with those 4 pieces every 4th week, pulling them out. And I feel like I could if I really just kept up with that. Okay, my very last piece is my start. I've had this book for a while. It's Cross Stitch in the Forest. Well, I could work on this on Earth Day as well, I suppose. From Max Pigeon. On Etsy, he's Pigeon Coop Designs. And I've seen so many people stitch all of these patterns. They're just fabulous. And I have quite a few I want to stitch. Let me see. I should have marked the page where this one is, the original. Sorry about this. I hadn't even thought about it, which is unusual for me because I'm usually pretty good about marking things in my notes and things like that. It's clearly way near the front. There it is. Which one did I want to do first? So many I wanted to stitch. So I ended up going with Heron at Dawn. Now I took, because of the name Heron at Dawn, I took that to think, how could I change it up a little bit fabric-wise? And you know me, I love a good blue fabric. So stitching it on blue or a bluish gray, that is right up my alley, to be honest with you. And I could totally have seen myself doing that. But I was thinking about this kind of, you know, that's like the rising sun and some clouds and things like that. I said, I want to make this feel like it's dawn. I took out those 2 sections. So there's going to be no clouds and no sun, rising sun. And I just wanted the fabric to give the feel of that color of dawn. And I hemmed and I hawed. This one's probably a little bit pinkier and a little less orange than I might have imagined in my head. But I'm really liking how the colors look on it. And I think it's going to be so pretty when you have the entire piece. And obviously you'll get some of that fabric, and it's just going to look, you know, when you've got those colors and it's just everything is saturated and it's so beautiful, I think it's going to look great. I really like how these grays are looking. The other thing I'm not going to do, there's a long stitch here on the beak, and I really like how he's just got the two colors charted and how he's designed it, that I don't want that stitch. So I'm not going to do the back stitch in this piece. This is 18 count. It's a Friday night fight night from Be Stitch Me. So unfortunately, I don't have a name for it. I don't know if she has adopted this color into her regular repertoire of colors, or if it was just kind of a one-off that she did for a Friday night fight. But it's a very kind of, see how it's kind of pinky orangey, and I chose a section that was a little less pinky, like you can see down here, and a little bit more orangey, which is really nice too. Sometimes look at your full piece of fabric, you might find just the right part in a corner. But I'm really loving this, and I think I'm almost halfway done. When you take out the moon and the clouds, obviously that would have been more stitching. Not the moon, the sun and the clouds. So I've got his, you know, the entire big body part and then some water right here, but I'm just really enjoying this. So I could see stitching this some more this week. You might see this next week. So there's a few you might see next week. Maybe on Earth Day I'll stitch on this one and Difference You Make. That would be a lot of fun to kind of celebrate the earth with some pieces that that kind of celebrate what's outside and all of our pieces of beautiful nature in the earth. So does anybody know when it is? If you do, off the top of your head, throw in the comments. I know I can look. I mean, I'm not helpless. I know I can look. But if you know off the top of your head, I want to say last year it was the 24th of April, but I don't think it has a specific day. It might fall on a specific day of a week, maybe. I don't know. So that is my stitching. Yay! And look at that. I kept on task. I didn't go off kilter with a lot of my talking. I thought I'd show though, these are a few things that I've stitched, kind of like cutesy Eastery things. I have them hanging, these two I have hanging on my little Hirschner's tree. Although I don't have a lot, I need to do some more. These are from a Etsy company called, I think it's Sugar Stitches. But they are part of much bigger pieces. And I didn't want the whole big piece. There's like a series of these that are kind of like the Peep company, or I don't even know. But it's a larger piece. It has some words and has other extra borders. I just thought the little parts of them were super cute. So I just did those right there and then made some ornaments out of them. Those are super cute. So always look at your patterns. Always look to see if you don't want to do a full part, but you love a part of it. That's always an option. I think this is backwards, but that's all right. And then this other piece, oh, this is a Primrose Cottage, so I must have the other two, because I don't know if they sell them as sets anymore or singly, but these are sets of 3 usually. It's like the postage stamp ones. And I just made this one. I have it, usually I stick, a lot of times in the year I put a trading card in this. The first trading card I made that I kept, I put it on here. But I thought this was a lot of fun. I took a die cut. Looks like a giant peep. It's a bunny, right? And I did the regular finish otherwise on this, and I just glued it right on there. And I thought it looked really cute, actually, on that kind of easel. And so that's a Primrose Cottage, one of the ones where it looks like like a postage stamp outside. So maybe next year I'll work on the other 2 of those, because I do need more hanging. I wouldn't do all 3 finished like this, but I just kind of wanted something different as a finish, and I just thought it was fun. So there we go. I think it's crooked. So those are my little pieces behind me this week. Alrighty, plans. I'm going to do at least 1 start. I know what I want to start, so you'll see that next week. At least 1, maybe more. I'm going to continue my challenges. I will work on He Is Risen this weekend, and then on Earth Day, I've got my Earth Day plans already set. So Not sure what else I'm doing that day. Hopefully I don't have a busy day because I've got stitching plans to do, you know, now. A very special thank you to Debbie. I had gotten some happy mail from you, Debbie, and I just, as always, you are just the most lovely, wonderful person, and I so appreciate you, and thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate that. Before shopping, I want to remind you, if you, through May 11th, if you would like to shop at Floss and Flame, there is a 15% off code currently, Shore15. So you get 15% off your entire, your order. And the cross stitching part, she sells candles as well, but all the cross stitching is free shipping. With my new start next week, I wanted to throw in some variegated floss, and I had some ideas for color and cotton. So the other night I went online and I checked out Jen's site, and was able to pick up some color and cottons, and I'm just having it shipped to me because I'm not gonna be able to get up to Dover. And the next day I already got a shipping notice. So Jen is on the ball, and I love Floss and Flame. Thank you, Jen, for being a great little LNS there. Alrighty, so what did I buy? Oh, my pretzel stitch. I meant to show that to you. Let me go real quick to Etsy. So what am I stitching? When I say pretzel stitch, let me put Uplift Stitches. So Uplift Stitches, Michael and Melanie, Melanie and Michael, M&M. Michael is doing a pretzel stitch starting April 26th, I think, is pretzel day. Okay, so we have one more week. So you have another week. Oh, and that's a Saturday. How fun. I think it's that day. I need to check their video to double check to make sure. But I need to talk and go here on my iPad at the same time. He wanted to celebrate Pretzel Day, and so he invited all of us to stitch something with pretzels. And I couldn't decide. Now, I'm not stitching all three of these. I'm obviously going to do the pretzel one. I might do the little beer keg one too, but this is Soda Stitch. What's it called? She's calling it Oktoberfest Beer Festival for gnomes. And so look at this gnome carrying the pretzel. Is he not adorable? And this little guy with the little hops in his hat is super cute too. So I'm going to stitch him separately. If I stitch either one of these others as well, I would stitch them separately. And just have little separate pieces. But I think that's just so cute. So that is my stitch. Soda Stitch. Oh, she is still having a 25% off sale for the next 2 days. It says, so right now on Friday, the 18th, it says sale ends in 2 days. Soda Stitch has some really, really fun pieces. Some that have heavily backstitched. This has just a little bit. But just really, really fun pieces. And so I just basically searched pretzel cross stitch on Etsy, and this popped up, and I said, oh, so cute. So I am in, Michael, I am in with you stitching pretzels. And like I said, I think it's the 26th, but I will confirm that. If it is, then I'll mention it again next week as well. Alrighty. The other thing I bought, I told you about how those missing stitches, Lynn, every quarter she comes up with some new colors and she puts them on her Etsy shop. And it's like the best time for me. It pops up usually that those missing stitches has new items, and I click on right away to see what she's done, and I'm super excited. I bought 3 of her 4 new colors, and then I did buy an older color that, because she rotates things in and out of, say, a stitching vault. And this one came out, and I love this one. So I did pick up, I couldn't remember. Remember, I was going between 2 of hers, and I couldn't remember what I had ordered. It's 18 count Devoted Dobbin. Look at this. It is, depending on the light you look on it, blue green, blue gray, or gray blue. It is fabulous. Or sometimes it looks almost denim-y. Actually, this one in this light right now is basically kind of denim-y. And yes, it's modeled, but not that modeled as usual. It is just, this is 18 count, and it is fabulous. I already have some of this color, and as soon as I saw that, I said, there's certain colors of hers that when they pop up, I want to get. while they're available. Now, these other three are three of the four new colors, all 18 count. So that, you know, you have to take that into account as well. This one's called Cunning Crawford. Now, if you want to see them, I don't know what Lynn shows, which fabric, whether it's a even weave or what, when she shows the new colors, but her newest video, I'll link her. Let's see, put Lynn down. Where she shows her new colors, and she shows a stitched finish on the next one I'm going to show you. It's beautiful. So Cunning Crawford, this is what this looks like. I think there'd be so much fun. Some ideas on that one. But you can, I don't know, again, like I said, what type of fabric she's showing there, but you can get an idea. I don't think it's, I'm almost sure it's not 18 count Aida, so you get a little bit of a different idea. This one's called Doting Dora, and it's a very pretty pink. That modeling, not that stark. It's much more subtle. It's there, but it's beautifully subtle. And Lynn did a finish on this. So if you would like to see something stitched on it and finished, go check out her video. And then the last one, I'm so intrigued with this color, and I'm trying to figure out what I could do with it. Courageous Cassie. And look at this. Again, don't look at that and get scared saying, oh, that's really more modeled than I would ever use. It's much more subtle. Like when you see that between the green and kind of the yellow green. So it's shades of green, this 18 count, with some that are almost yellow tones, but they just melt into each other and just work so well. So I remember before I really was working with some these types of hand-dyed fabrics, I would look and I would see people on Flosstube and I'd be like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna use for that? It's so modeled. But then when I started to see them in person and show them to you, I came to realize that the camera just picks up the starkness much different than the real life. I was actually, and I don't know, I'd have to do some floss tosses. I plan, now remember how I said I wasn't gonna do sets of anything? Yeah, I am currently collecting, I think they're all out, so I need to buy the last one or two. The 12 Days of Christmas from Liz Matthews. I'm not going to do the trees. I'm going to do kind of the sampler. And I'm thinking, I want to do them on, I think, a shade of green. And I hadn't decided if I wanted to do them on one and just have them all be kind of, it's going to be a collection in the scrapbook. Or if I wanted to do them on different greens. And I saw this, and for some reason, again, not a stark, so don't get scared by that. I was thinking, would this look good? Like this section here, you can see is a bit more, which is might be kind of cool then, depending on which of the 12 days, if I want something that's a little more lighter green versus the darker green. So I need to do, I'm going to pull some flosses from that and do some floss tosses. Lynn, I might be asking for a much bigger piece of this so I can fit all 12. I need to measure them. I mean, they're not huge, so maybe I could do a half yard and that would be enough. But thoughts on that, I'm not sure. So I'm going to do some floss tossing, pull some flosses, see what's going on with that. And maybe that'll be maybe in Christmas in July, I can start that project. I was waiting for all of them to come out before I decided my fabric and get them started. I think 12 just came out, right? I'll have to go back and check. And Lynn always gives, she sends stickers. Look at this one. How perfect is that for me? They're always book related. And a book is proof that humans are capable of working magic. Then we have, oh gosh, we have a whole bunch here. We have these. I love using stickers in my cross stitch planner, as well as I've been starting to decorate my challenge book a bit more. As you can see here, I had this little space, Magazine Monthly acrostic. I'm almost finished, and I had this little tiny space here. And I thought that sticker worked really well. So I just need to do the letter O for that acrostic, and I'm done. So stickers are always welcome in my mind. So yeah, so that is the shopping. No specific plans except maybe for this one on the fabrics, and then we have the pretzel stitch. I need to pull those flosses and see what I want to stitch that on. So we'll see. Okay, so that is all of the cross stitch stuff. So if that's all you're here for, thank you so much for being here. I just have a tiny bit of life, not a ton, to talk about, so it should be fairly quick. But if you don't care about that stuff, then have a great, great week. All right, so what's happening? This was a fairly quiet week for me. Well, this week especially, Mo works remotely. For those of you who maybe, Mo is my husband, and he works remotely almost all the time, 95% of the time. But the main offices are back up in Connecticut where we moved from. And so approximately every quarter, and it's not exact, but they want him to come up to just be in the office for a couple days. And so this week was that week. And so he went up and he was up in the office, and then he came home late last night. So he is back, yay. But I was kind of by myself for a good portion of the week. So I did have a lovely Zoom, which made for a wonderful afternoon. And then yesterday we had my regular needlework group here in my community. And so there was only 4 of us, but it was really nice and I really enjoyed it. And again, it was something to do because the house has been empty. So that was really nice. And I actually, one of the nights I did sleep pretty good. Normally when he's not here, I don't sleep very well at all, but I hadn't been sleeping well up to then. So I think I was just so exhausted I crashed. I think it was the first night he was gone. So I joked with him and I said, well, I slept really well last night. So, I guess it's you keeping me awake with all of your tossing and turning. But it's nice to have him back. So I'm glad that trip for this quarter is done and he's back home. What else? Otherwise, not a lot. I've watched, so I was watching Cross Stitch the Globe, Stephanie and Allison, and they were talking about that they had watched, I think Allison watched just one episode. Stephanie has binged the whole thing. A show on Netflix called The Residents. Now there's a new one called The Resident. That's different. It's The Residents. And it's an 8-episode series. And over the course of this week, I have binged it all. So I finished it last night. It very much reminded me, in very bare bones, there is a murder that takes place in the White House on the night of a state dinner. And so a kind of world famous detective who solves the unsolvable crimes is brought in to solve this crime. And so you have the 8 episodes in which she takes to solve the crime. It's very reminiscent in its irreverence as Knives Out or Only Murders in the Building, those kind of shows. So if you like those and those kind of, irreverence and kind of over the top and just, that kind of thing, then that might be something you would enjoy. I really enjoyed it. I could really see this would be really cool if they went other places. And so maybe there's, some other famous place where there's a murder and then she's brought in there and so on and so forth. It was very well written, like how everything tied together eventually. So I got to imagine that would take a while, but I really did enjoy it. And, this week I just wanted some kind of lighthearted whatever, because I was, again, by myself. So it was just fun to have something, to have to watch that was like that. So if you like Knives Out, if you like Only Murders in the Building, those kinds of things, I think you would enjoy The Residents. And I did recognize some of the actors in it. So there's definitely familiar looking faces in there. The other thing I finished, and I meant to check the title of it. It's an Acorn show. Let me see if it'll pop up on my Acorn app. If you do have Acorn, I love British shows, so I do have Acorn. Here it is. Recipes for Love and Murder. I have Acorn and BritBox because I really do love the British shows. And Recipes for Love and Murder, this is season number 2. And it's a very quirky, again, kind of different type of show. I actually preferred season 2 to season 1. So I really got invested. In season 1, you're kind of getting to know everybody and kind of knowing there's a lot of strands of stories. In season 2, something happens in the first episode, as well as some storylines from the first season, and that arcs over the whole season. And I thought that was really interesting, or I enjoyed that kind of arc for the entire season. So I have to say, I really did enjoy that. And I don't know if they're going to have any more seasons than those two, but I did enjoy that. So that was something on the British streaming sites, if you like. I started on Libby. I picked up I looked at a kind of like a cozy mystery book, and I'm about 2 pages in, so I can't tell you if I'm going to like it or not. If I do, I'll let you know. We'll see. I've not read it before, and I do better with Libby listening to things I've already read. So we'll see if I can follow it, or if I want to end up getting the book from the, hopefully I can find it somewhere with the library system, you know, I mean, that it can be sent here from one of the other libraries if they don't have it in my library. So I'll let you know if I like it, if it's something. I'm a big fan of cozy mysteries. I like them quite a lot, but they have to be written just right. Sometimes they're just, the main characters are a little too, I don't know, sometimes they try to make them a little too funny or a little too this or too that, and they just kind of go over the top a little bit. A well-written cozy is just fantastic. All right, I think that's it though. I don't really have much more. It's a quiet weekend for Mo and myself this weekend. If you celebrate the holiday, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend, whether it is full and busy or if it's quiet. We are finally getting some nicer weather. Oh, thank goodness. It's been cold. I think we're actually going to hit 65 today, and I think the wind is toning down, so yay, it won't be too bad. We'll just, you know, I'll take it. I'll take some nice weather as much as I can get. And that's it. That's really all I got. Oh, next week I get my eyes checked. So we'll see if I have different glasses or, I don't know. I don't want to know what he's going to say. You know, it's like, I think the eyes are okay. Then they do those little things. And the next thing you know, like, I can't see a thing. So we'll see what happens there. But that's my exciting times. All right. That's about it. That's all I got. So I hope you are well. I hope you are safe. Again, I hope whether you have a busy weekend filled with lots of things this weekend, or if it's just a quiet, gentle weekend, I hope it is a good one for you. Please remember that you are important. You matter. Never, never, never forget that, please. I know it takes us a long time sometimes to put ourselves sometimes first, right? It took me years and years and years to understand that. That sometimes we need to put ourselves first to be there for everybody else. We matter. We are important in our own right, standing on our own as a person without anything else coming in at us. So please remember that you do matter. All right, until next time, happy stitching.